Hello everyone and welcome to a new lesson about responding to good news and bad news. I'm Noureddine and I hope you're doing fine. First, I'd like you to look at the following pieces of news and say whether they are good or bad. Very simple. Here they are. Look at the first one. Look at the headline. What does it say? It says suicide bomb kills 30 in Iraq. So a bomb killing 30 in Iraq is of course a bad news. Look at the second one. Giant warehouse fire ravages city street. What is it? Of course, it's bad news because of the fire that ravaged the whole city street. The third one, a medical breakthrough, and breakthrough means success. So what is it? Good news, of course, yes. And look at this one from New York Post. It says headless body in topless bar. So what is it? So they found a body without head. It's of course a bad news. Number 5. What is it? Cancer cured. They cured cancer. So it's a good news, of course. Finding a cure for cancer is good news. Then number 6, girl reunited with the puppy, with her puppy. Wow, she found her puppy at last. So what's that? That's good news. Very good. Now let's read a dialogue, but before we read the dialogue, let's explain a few words. There are 3 of them. Catch someone red-handed. What does that mean? When you catch someone red-handed, it means that you catch them in the act of committing something wrong, doing something bad. Smashing, when you say something is smashing, meaning it's extremely good, it's attractive, it's enjoyable or pleasant. And word number 3 is smoking crack. When you say that someone is smoking crack, meaning that they are smoking cocaine, and this is of course slang English. Okay, got someone red-handed, smashing, and crack. Okay, let's move to the dialogues. I'd like you to read the dialogues on page 136 of your book and answer these questions. It doesn't matter if you don't have your books in front of you, because I have everything here for you. And answer these questions. The questions are, number 1, what is the news? Meaning, what's the news about? And number 2, what are the expressions used to respond to the news? Okay, here are the dialogues. Dialogue number 1. Steve, I've got to talk to you. Sure. What's up? I really don't know how to say it, but I feel I ought to tell you. Just go ahead. What is it? Well, I'm really sorry to say that your son was caught red-handed this morning. What? What do you mean by red-handed? I saw him hanging around with some boys. They were smoking crack. Oh dear, are you sure it was him? No way. Yes, I'm sure it was him. So, what's the news about? Yes, it's Sarah caught Steve's son smoking crack. And the expressions used are what? The expressions used to respond to this bad news is what? And the second one, oh dear. Yes. Okay? What about the second dialogue? I've got some smashing news to tell you, Peter. What is it? I've won first prize in the writing contest. Wow, that sounds exciting. Congratulations. So what's the news about? Yes, Mehdi won first prize in the writing contest. And what are the expressions used to respond to this good news? So Peter said, wow, that sounds exciting, and congratulations. Okay, let's recapitulate. Oh dear is used to respond to bad news. And wow, that sounds exciting. And congratulations. These expressions are used to respond to good news. But of course, there are more expressions. More expressions to respond to bad news or to sympathize with others include, oh dear, I'm sorry. Oh my God, what a pity. That's awful. That's terrible. Poor thing. How sad or how terrible. That's bad luck. Sorry to hear that. I am or I was so sorry to hear that. My deepest sympathy and condolences, and this one is used, of course, when somebody passes away or somebody dies. And that's rough, and this one is used for something that's not emotional. And the expressions to respond to good news include congratulations, I'm glad or I'm really glad or happy to hear that. I'm really delighted, meaning happy. Great news or what great news. Well done, meaning you did something well. It gives me great pleasure to hear or to see or I cannot tell you how happy I am or I was. That's wonderful. That sounds exciting. How marvelous. Awesome. Incredible. Really? Wow. Of course, you can press pause to read these expressions again if you want to. Now let's do a few exercises to check whether you've understood what we've been talking about. Exercise number 1. Classify the following expressions into responding to good news and responding to bad news. Just a classification. Okay, say whether the expressions are used to respond to good news or used to respond to bad news. Here are the expressions at the top. Congratulations, is it used to respond to good news or respond to bad news? Of course, it's used to respond to good news. Poor thing. Poor thing, of course, is responding to bad news. I'm so sorry to hear that. Yes, used to respond to bad news. How sad. Of course, responding to bad news. How wonderful. That one is used to respond to good news. That's fantastic. Yes, responding to good news. My deepest sympathy for your loss. Yes, responding to bad news. Wow, that sounds great. Yes, responding to good news. Incredible. Yes, responding to good news. That's awesome. Responding to good news. That must be awful. Responding to bad news. Hard luck. Okay, hard luck is used, of course, to respond to bad news. Well done. When you do something well, so people say well done. So yes, used to respond to good news. And what a pity is used to respond to bad news. Okay, you can always press pause to read again what's on this slide. Exercise 2. Please read the following expressions and say what their function is. Is it giving bad news, or giving good news, or responding to good news, or responding to bad news? Okay? Let's start. Number 1. I'm afraid I've got some bad news. What is it? Giving good news, giving bad news, responding to good news, or responding to uh, good news? So, Yes, it's giving bad news. I'm so sorry to hear that. What is it? Giving good news, giving bad news. Responding to good news, responding to bad news. Of course, it's responding to bad news. Number 3, I'm really glad to hear that. What is it? Yes, responding to good news. Number 4, I've got a bit of a good news for you. Of course, it's giving good news. How marvelous! What is it? Yes, responding to good news. Oh dear, I'm sorry. Responding to bad news. And the last one, I'm so pleased to tell you that you passed. Yes, giving good news. Exercise 3, the last one. How would you respond to the following pieces of news? Look at the first one. My car, someone says, for example, my car broke down about a mile down the road and I've walked all the way here. So that's a bad news. How would you respond to this bad news? You could say, for example, sorry to hear that. You must be exhausted. You must be tired. Okay, someone, for example, sent you a message or an email and said that just sending out the good news that our son Grant was born. So you have to write back and respond to this good news. What can you say, for example? Congratulations on the new baby, Amanda. Amanda could be the mother. Okay, number 3. Someone said, I'm going to work overtime every day this week. Oh, that's a bad news. How can you respond to this bad news? You sympathize with the person. You say, oh, that's rough. Okay, now, number 4. Our school soccer team has qualified for the country final. This is a good news. How can you respond to it? Wow, that's wonderful, for example. Number 5, my dog died. He was like a member of the family. So this is a bad news. So how can you respond to this bad news? This person loves his dog and this dog died. So you can say, for example, oh dear, I'm sorry to hear that. Okay? Okay, let's move on to the homework. Okay, I would like you to write 2 mini dialogues, one with good news and one with bad news. Let me give you an example or two. Example. Hi Ali, I have been offered the job. Wow, congratulations. That's it. Okay, another example. Okay, here's another one. I really feel bad to have to say this, but our football team lost the match. Oh my God, that's awful. Okay? Can you write a couple of dialogues like these ones? I'm sure you can, yes. Good luck and goodbye.